Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about The Turning Point. The Turning Point is an Italian crime thriller that tells the story of Ludovico, a lonely shut-in of a man whose life is turned upside down by the sudden arrival of Jack, a thief who steals a large amount of money belonging to the local mafia and invites himself over at Ludovico's apartment. He does so in order to wait for things to cool off outside the building so that he can make a clean getaway. During his stay, he and Jack get to know each other and both begin to experience a change in their lives for the better despite the imminent danger that's about to come their way. When done right, slow burn thrillers are one of my favorite types of movies to enjoy, and this is one example that does it right, and then some. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but it floored me with how tense the build-up to its conclusion was and how much it had to say with its central message. Ludovico is a character who I found myself relating to right from the beginning. He's a slacker who's trying not to be, but he can't help it because of his mental health issues, and this is made worse by his family, who he feels doesn't understand what he's going through, which in turn causes him to be more depressed. What I like about his personality is that it's presented in a realistic manner. His family clearly loves him and want the best for him, but they also have a different idea of what constitutes success than he does. They want him to continue studying economics while he wants to be a graphic novel artist. The classic parent-child power struggle helped me become attached to his character and want to see him achieve his goals. This is made better as the audience gets to see him progress in his art and well-being, and most of that is thanks to his new roommate. Jack is very much the heart of the story. Even though he is technically a criminal, he is small fry compared to the thugs he rips off, which gives him an underdog kind of vibe that makes him easy to like, made even easier thanks to his charming personality. Like with Ludovico, he has his own family issues that are explored, and I was actually surprised at how deep the movie went with him. Through his explanations, one can get a sense that he's not really a bad person, and he has his own goals that motivate him beyond just being a petty thief, and all of this made him more sympathetic as a result. The way these two build their relationship is fantastic. At first, it starts like one might expect. Jack acts pushy and forceful, while Ludovico is timid and resentful. Over time, though, as they're forced to stay confined with each other, little details in the apartment and about each other's personalities start to pop up, which prompts conversation that changes the dynamic of their relationship. For example, Jack is a bit more of a handyman compared to Ludovico, so he'll fix one thing by himself and then build on that and show him how to fix another thing. This was a natural way of getting Ludovico to realize the potential he has to get things done, even if it's something as simple as fixing a broken shelf. Eventually, all of the little things Jack does to help Ludovico add up to a significant turning point, as the title suggests, and without spoiling anything behind it, I loved how the progression unfolds to this. It has an inspiring tone that kept me invested in the characters' well-being and wanting to see them accomplish their dreams. Loneliness was the central theme I gathered from watching the movie. Both characters have a void in their lives, with Ludovico's being his unexplored passion and being unable to share it with anyone, and Jack's being his missing family. In turn, both characters get something out of being with each other. There's an almost brotherly quality to their relationship, which makes sense the longer it goes on and details of their personal lives become evident. Again, I don't want to spoil too much about them, but there's a subplot in the movie that sealed the deal for me with how effective their bond was. Ludovico has a crush on a girl named Rebecca, who lives in his apartment building. As Jack becomes more of an influence on Ludovico, he becomes increasingly more confident in how he communicates with her while still showing growing pains along the way. This reinforces how lonely he truly was before, adds to the variety of scenarios that take place inside the building, and honestly, it's just plain adorable. And now that I've avoided it long enough, this leads me to talk about the main plot itself. It's pretty simple in scope with how Jack has to hide and hold on to his bag of cash, but this is what makes the story work so well. It doesn't try to overcomplicate its story with mafia jargon or ethical dilemmas, it just allows the characters to live and breathe on their own. I will admit that the thrills here do take a while to get going. It's a lot more focused on the dialogue between the two leads than it is on pure suspense, but I think the movie does a great job with how subtle it is in weaving this suspense into the background of its events. Just like with the two main characters, there's a sense of progression as the mafia tries to search for the money. The first thug they send is a complete buffoon, the second is better but lacks initiative, and the third is a consummate professional. The stakes took time to rise, but they never stopped rising, so it always succeeded at keeping my eyes glued to the screen to see what happened next. I also liked how some of the mafia men had their own little subplot as well. They had no problem talking trash about their boss and didn't come across as just another pair of guns for hire. It adds to the realistic nature of the story, as well well as making for good comedy relief in general. Make no mistake though, the leader of the mafia in this movie is not a guy to be messed with. He adds a threatening presence to this movie's events with how he inspires fear in others throughout the story and gets closer to finding Ludovico and Jack. Yet these two are mostly oblivious to how far he comes along, and this made for a nerve-wracking experience. The state of the city environment this movie takes place in further enhances the dark, grim atmosphere. Everything from the trash on the streets to the rundown gambling bars creates an air of desolation, which on top of maintaining a foreboding mood also reinforces the struggle that the two leads go through and how much they need to escape. It almost feels like an old-fashioned noir mystery at times with how everyone pieces things together about their circumstances, especially with how the light jazz soundtrack plays during investigations, making otherwise ordinary scenes more interesting to watch. All of this builds to a crazy finale that I can only describe as an emotional gut punch. Without giving anything away, Ludovico and Jack's arcs come to a fitting conclusion and leave you thinking about what they accomplished long after it finishes. The fact that filmmakers were able to condense all of this into a 90-minute time frame is a true testament to their talent. Overall, The Turning Point is a stellar crime thriller that examines the effects that both loneliness and socialization have on people, and tells its story in a way that is both inspiring and entertaining. If you like crime-oriented thrillers and you don't mind watching one that moves at a slow burn pace, this is one you gotta see. It reminded me a lot of last year's Below Zero, with how simple and yet brilliant it was with its straightforward storytelling. That doesn't mean that complex narratives can't be good, but it's with how subtle and effective its presentation is that makes it so memorable. What did you think about this movie? Were you blown away by how the relationship developed between the two leads, or was the story a bit too slow for your liking? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of The Turning Point. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part, where next time I review the Polish erotic thriller 365 Days This Day. Bye bye!